G'day everyone, Viv here. I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Cheers. Prost. Wait, I'll talk about this in a second. Cheers. This is my new German Stein from one of my friends in Germany, Lucas. He sent me a Christmas package. This video, if you're interested in seeing some scenery or something like that, it's not going to happen. Housekeeping time. It's been a while since I've had a video. It's time for a bit of housekeeping and sort of what's going on and what's happening this year. So I've got my little list of things to talk about. I've got my wonderful note here from Lucas with the package that he's sent me, of which I've been enjoying stuff already. So, and I've had a couple of beers today already. So we'll have to deal with that. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. It's done. It's past. It's done. I hope 2015 is a good year for you. It's going to be a great year for me. It's going to be a great year for Knights of Dice, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get into it. So, present from Lucas. I got back from Adelaide for my Christmas break, and this package arrived about a week later. No idea what it was, from Germany, and it was a big surprise. Hey Viv, aside from having a good taste for beer, I'm sure you'll really like these typical German sweets, and he's listed a whole bunch of sweets here. Cheers, Lucas, your friend on Google+. Thank you for subscribing to my stuff. You're very welcome, Lucas. He has a great Google+ page full of heaps of cool Saga stuff, and I'll talk about what's happening with Saga in a minute. Loads of cool miniatures and scenery and terrain, and it's been great to follow along on his Google+ page. And he sent me this wonderful package. Some Haribo gummy bears, which as you can see have been almost well devoured. This wonderful little postcard with a nice little message on the back, some toffee fees and some German gingerbread, and this cool little thing that looks amazing, some sort of fruit loaf. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I'm sure it's going to be delicious. These cookies are amazing. Oh, I love it. I don't know what's in it, nutmeg or cinnamon or something that makes them unbelievable. So, Lucas, thank you so much for that. It was a huge surprise, and it's the first time in the 6 years or so that I've been doing this that someone has sent me something random that wasn't expected, or that I hadn't commissioned or paid for, or it was just a gift. It's the first time, and it was, oh yes, it was very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And he sent me this cool Stein mug. It's a ½ liter Stein with this awesome cool little flip top, which keeps the bloody flies out of my beer. Thank you so much. Prost. All right. I also did receive another package from Dennis at Savage Forge Minis, which I didn't prepare for the video, and I don't really feel like doing multiple takes on this, so I'm going to talk about those later on. But they were more of the 70mm pillow fighting girls. Maybe I'll throw up an image or something like that. So Dennis from Savage Forge has been sculpting in 70mm the 6 pillow fighting women that we have for our game Pillow A Go Go, which I will be talking about more on the Knights of Dice channel. There will also be some stuff here on Rubbish In and Rubbish Out to try and push people over there. In the next couple of weeks / month or so, 2015, for Knights of Dice, at least in terms of pushing that Pillow A Go Go game, will certainly be on the agenda. So I received more pillow fighters from Dennis. Thank you, they're wonderful. Dennis is an amazing sculptor from Savage Forge Minis. He has a whole bunch of cool stuff that he does, obviously, for himself, as all sculptors do, but does commissions for various people, and one of those is for us here at Knights of Dice, or on the Knights of Dice channel. So, Pillow A Go Go on the Knights of Dice channel. If you're interested in checking out that game, there's information on our forum, and on the website, but I'll try and keep that to the Knights of Dice channel because it's specific to Knights of Dice. So, there we go. That's the Pillow A Go Go. Rightio, some scenery stuff. Wow, it's very, very warm here. It's summertime in Australia, and it's hot. Such a big country. There's bushfires burning in some parts of the country, and there's floods happening in other parts of the country. It's amazing. So it's time to start working on that scenery for the competition winners from mid last year, I think it was. There was 3 winners for that competition. I asked people to submit some photographs of scenery and terrain that they enjoyed, and I'd pick some winners and build them their piece of terrain. So it's time to get on with that. It's been long overdue, and I've procrastinated enough about it. But if you've been following along for a while, those three winners, you may remember them, but there'll be information on the Knights of Dice webpage about those. And videos here on Rubbish In, Rubbish Out when I start working on them. So there will be some scenery content coming up soon. It will be specifically related to those competition winners. Let's get on with this beer. Some more exciting stuff going on. I'm looking forward to this year so much. Alright, so I bought myself a new Christmas present. I bought a new Wacom device. And if you're not familiar with Wacom make all different sorts of touch devices, primarily for 3D artists, or digital artists, I should say. So I bought a new Cintiq 22 HD Touch, which is a great big touch screen for drawing on and sculpting on, and that was my Christmas present because I'm really keen to start exploring ZBrush more. I looked at it about a year ago, played around for a little bit. The sculpting is fairly straightforward in terms of organic sort of shapes and playing with the various brushes, etc. But I didn't have any idea how any of the program worked. It's such a massive program and so much involved in it that it just overwhelmed me completely, and I sort of packed it away. But I really am keen to start exploring that, not just so I can start sculpting my own figures, busts and larger scale figures, possibly, hopefully in the future, some smaller scale figures. But sort of also for helping with terrain, little bits and pieces, scatter terrain, crates, barrels, windows, doors, all those little bits and pieces which are just time consuming and fiddly and to make. And I just thought, look, I'd rather do it really nicely rather than sort of trying to make some stuff by hand and make molds of those so I can use them on pieces of scenery or possibly sell. I'd rather sort of have something that's high quality. So how can I get high quality? I can do it digitally, I can get them printed, and then I can mold them. So that's my new Cintiq device from Wacom and the 3D modeling. There'll certainly be a lot of that going on. If you follow the Knights of Dice Facebook page, you would have seen some of the little projects that I've been working on as I've been going through my ZBrush courses. So that's very exciting for me, and what makes it even better is I've just bought a 3D printer. There's lots of 3D printers out there on the market. I bought a Form 1 Plus from Formlabs. It's quite a nice little prototype printer. It uses stereolithography printing, which is different than most of the printers out there that are sort of entry-level printers. They use FDM technology, fused deposition modeling, where they extrude a piece of plastic, they melt it, squeeze it out through a nozzle, and then build up layers. Those sorts of printers, you can get high-end versions of those printers, and you can get cheap budget ones for a couple of $100. The Form one is different. It uses, as I mentioned, SL technology, stereolithography. It fuses liquid resin together using UV light. So it starts off in a tray and it builds the model upwards. The base lifts up, and as it lifts up, it's curing the layers in between. That's one of the biggest differences. The biggest difference between SL and FDM technology is the resolution. Normally you would see in a lot of sort of low budget 3D printing machines, you get these layers. You can visibly see the layers because the FDM printers just can't print sort of fine enough detail. So anything that's got a curved edge, you end up with all these little ridges on it. It's fine if it's flat, then it's not too bad, but as soon as it starts curving, you can see all these little layers. SL technology is different. It can print at a much higher resolution, so you end up with a much smoother surface than FDM technology. The Form 1 Plus can print layers 1/4 the thickness of a human hair. That's tiny. It's still an entry-level printer. I don't expect it to be printing out sort of high quality stuff, but it's going to be certainly much better than a lot of the FDM stuff you see around. So I bought one of those. It's going to be arriving in hopefully in 4 to 6 weeks. And by then I should have a good grasp of the fundamentals, at least, of ZBrush under my belt, and hopefully start to print out some basic stuff, barrels and crates and sandbags and all that simple sort of stuff, as well as hopefully some of the organic sort of fantasy creature busts and stuff that I'm interested in working on. So that's quite an exciting development for Knights of Dice that increases our capabilities in terms of being able to sculpt digitally, print, perhaps hopefully some stuff that can then be molded and cast. Obviously I already have the spin casting equipment, I have resin casting equipment, vacuum chambers and pressure chambers and all that sort of stuff, and obviously all the molding skills and experience that is necessary to do all that sort of stuff. So some really good developments there for Knights of Dice, and I'm looking forward to it. So as I mentioned, the first things that I really want to start working on there will just be some larger stuff, larger scale busts, getting used to ZBrush, creating organic shapes, fantasy creatures, all that sort of stuff before I move on to hard surface modelling and all that sort of stuff. So that's exciting for me. Saga, got to get back to some Saga. I think we're at the point where the Vikings and the Irish need to have their grudge match, need to sit down, read through some more of the battle boards, have a bit of an overview of the very, very many forces. Crescent and the Cross perhaps maybe in the future as well, but right now there's so much content for Saga to get through. Saga will take a back seat to the game that's going to keep me interested for 2015, certainly at least, and that's Unreal World of Twilight. Now this is a wonderful little skirmish game. It's been around for a number of years, developed by Michael Thorpe in the UK, and last year he ran a Kickstarter. I should have brought the book. I'm way underprepared for this. There's a couple of things I've forgotten. He ran a Kickstarter last year to finance the sort of amalgamation and the printing of all the various rule books that he has into one compendium. And I tell you what, that's a wonderful, wonderful book. And I'll talk about that later on in separate videos. And there'll certainly be a lot of coverage for Twilight here on my channel. I love the game. I love the fantasy world that Mike created. I love the miniatures. I love the character. I love the theme. It's and the mechanics, the rule mechanics. Obviously, you need to have good miniatures and a good setting. But unless the mechanics work as well, the game's not going to be interesting. The mechanics for Twilight are interesting. So it's captivated my attention. I've been exchanging a lot of emails back and forth with Mike, and I'm loving it. You'll certainly see a lot of Twilight here on Rubbish In, Rubbish Out this year. So that's all I've got on my list here to talk about at the moment. Lots of stuff I want to be doing. Oh, yes, one more thing I didn't write down here, but I wanted to bring up. For those people who follow the Knights of Dice Facebook page, you would remember that I'd put a shout out for people to come and play battle reports, to film here at the studio, to produce some new content for various different games. That is still going ahead, but there's been some delays because at the moment our house, which is being built at the moment, hasn't been finished. There's been more delays, and so we can't sort of move our crap out of here until that house is finished. And until that happens, I just can't set up the space properly to film stuff. If you are in Melbourne and you're interested in getting involved in coming in and filming battle reports and perhaps shooting some tactical videos and just talking miniature gaming and crap with me, then get in contact with me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get some more people in here and produce some content together with other people. This is a social hobby after all, and it would be great to have some people come in and film some content with me. Cheers. But there'll be updates about that on the Knights of Dice page again as we move forward. So that's it. Really just wanted to say thank you to Lucas for this wonderful, wonderful gift of these bloody toffee things are amazing. This packet is almost empty. I think there's 2 left in here. These are amazing. If you can get these, fucking well get them because they're delicious. And a couple of guys I was talking to said that they're delicious, and they're delicious. If you can get them, get them. They're amazing. So thank you, Lucas, for that wonderful present. Thank you for my new Stein. It will be appearing whenever I am enjoying a nice cold beer here on my channel from here on in. I think this will be my regular drinking mug anyway. Like I said, with this cool little flip top, it keeps the bloody insects and bugs out of my beer, which at this time of year in Australia, there are plenty flying around. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, that's it. I'll catch you next time. Have a good one. See ya.